Hi, I'm taking Paul McWhorter's Raspberry Pi lessons, and currently he's doing things with the camera, and he's also using the SunFounder PanTilt hat. And this is a video about the PanTilt hats. It doesn't include the homework for the lessons because that would make the video too long, but I do have a program that I'll show you at the end. I couldn't get a SunFounder PanTilt hat myself in France or in the UK, and it would have cost an arm and a leg to get it from America, so I bought a Pimoroni one instead. There we have, on the left is the SunFounder one, and on the right is the Pimoroni one. The differences between them: the Pimoroni one is easier to assemble, which is lucky because I'm not very good at things like that, but it was more expensive, and it didn't come with a camera, and there aren't any exposed GPIO pins, but it does give proper -90 to +90 degree pan and tilt, and you can see that. I mean, here that is where it pans round that axis there, and then it tilts here, which means it doesn't have the same problems that the SunFounder one does. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Max from Flight of the Navigator, but you can't have everything. Now, the SunFounder one, the one that Paul was using, actually had exposed GPIO pins, which was very handy, but unfortunately that was a prototype, and now the GPIO pins aren't exposed, and I would have been very annoyed about that. You can't, if you look where it tilts down there, if it tilts beyond about, I don't know, 25-30 degrees, it will hit that section there, which isn't so great. And unfortunately, it isn't the fact that it just won't go any further. It could easily, if you accidentally put in 90 degrees, it could frazzle your servo, which wouldn't be great. And this could be, was that all? Yes, that's about all I can say about that. But if I had this one, what I would do, because that bit there is joined onto the base, and then it pivots, what I would do is I would 3D print something that would fix there, and screw into the bottom bit, and then it would be able to raise up that bit, and then you could pivot on there, and then you would make it just big enough so that this section here could tilt right down without getting into that. The only difficulty, you might need to get a longer camera cable, I don't know, with that idea, but anyway, I haven't done this idea because I don't have one. There's another problem with the SunFounder kit. I'll show you the code if I can find it. Right, this is the code. This is on the official SunFounder code place. Don't know if it's GitHub or, yes, it's GitHub. And I wanted to look at the code to see if anything could be done about this tilt thing, because the Pimoroni program, if you try and put in an angle less than 90, no, less than -90 or greater than 90, the program will crash, as opposed to just trying to do it and then your servo burning out. So I'm having a look at the Pimoroni program, and as you come down here there's a mention of min angle and max angle, and I thought, that'd be quite good, because you only have a min angle for both the for tilt and pan, but you could change it round, so you could have a min tilt angle and a min oh no, you don't need min. Down is plus. Yeah, down is plus, therefore you'd want to have a max tilt angle and a max pan angle to get round that, because you want one to be 90, one to be about 25, something like that. Anyway, so you go down here and you think, ah, this is great. They're using the max angle, they're using the min angle. Then when you come down here, in this main section, while true, for angle in range 0 to 90 in steps of 1. Well, that's no good, because it just ignores the fact that you've got a min angle and a max angle, and it would scrunch your server if you ran this. So I thought about rewriting this, and I thought there's no point, because if I rewrote it and it didn't work and someone used it, people would be very, very angry with me if I scrunched their server. So I won't do anything with that. Right, I will get rid of that window. Right, the exposed GPIO pins. I have found, not there, that one. This is a fat stack, or do you pronounce it P-hat stack, I don't know, made by Pimoroni, and it says in little writing, this simple board lets you mix and match 3 hats or 5 fats into a platter of functionality. Well, that sounds jolly good. I've been assured by Pimoroni that it would work with the PanTilt hat, but I haven't tried it yet because I'm waiting for someone to bring it over for me. And then I've got another picture of it somewhere there, and that's it in action. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, don't know how you get 5 on there. Anyway, doing all its thing, and it also makes it a nice solid base to have it on. So I thought people might be interested in this. Now I will demonstrate my program. Get rid of all these pictures. Right, I haven't included any of the actual lessons for the PanTilt hat in my video, because it would just make the video far too long. So we'll go into Thonny on my Raspberry Pi, and here's my program. There's the camera. You can see hello, picture of my PanTilt hat. And I think the easiest thing is just to run the program and show what it does. Now I've included functionality because my previous programs I was doing mask addition, so I've included the capability to cope with having different masks, adding them on and everything like that, but I'll just mention that in passing. Right, we'll run this. Excuse me. Right, it moved. Oh, the duster. No, I don't want the duster in the shot. And I'll move this over there so we can see it. Right. The first program that Paul wanted us to do was just to have the frames per second up there, and I thought it would be quite cool to actually put other things up there as well. So we have the pan, we have angle, the tilt angle, and the mode. He wanted to be able to swap from training to tracking and vice versa. And then I'm actually taking pictures from the Pi camera, and then that's to do with the track bars. So we'll start first of all you might be able to see in this camera that the pan tilt is moving, hopefully. Right, I'm using the up and down and left and right buttons on my PC. So we go up, 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 up. Seems to be working okay. And it goes right up to 90. If I press it again, nothing happens, and it isn't trying to move it, because if I press it you can't hear the motor doing anything. No. And you can go right down again. You can keep your finger pressed on the down button and it will do the business. Don't know, maybe the wire's getting a bit in the way. I'll just move that to be better. Right, and again goes down to 90, and when I press down arrow it isn't making any noise. So we'll go up again till we've got something sensible in the picture, and I won't bother to demonstrate the tilt going all the way. It's the same logic, and if I go up here, I just want to have it so you can see the writing better. Right, so that's the pan and tilt. If I go on to the code, close that, this is the code. That's just setting up the camera and everything, doing the frames per second, and then I've just set up dummy values for the 5 masks that I'll have and things. Then I found out the values of the arrow keys, so that you are checking down here for you go CV2.WaitKey1, and then you can compare that against odd, bracket, and then whatever you want in quotes, but you can't do that with an arrow key. So the easiest way to find out what the value of odd up arrow or down arrow, whatever, is to actually press it in your program, print it out, and then find out what the value is. So that is left, I think, left, because it's a pan of 1 and a tilt of nothing. Then that is up, because it's a pan of 0 and a -1 for tilt, and then that's right and left, I think. Anyway, so we go down here and look to see what happens. I'm setting up all the text for the frames per second, and then I'm just writing pan, tilt, mode, ready, and that's got all the default values at the beginning of the program at the moment. Then I show the camera frame. Right, that's just saying, whoops, there I'm just checking to see if it is one of the arrow keys, and then I'm getting the pan increment and the tilt increment. Now if there is a pan increment, i.e. it isn't equal to 0, I add the increment onto the angle of the pan, and then my initial reaction was to say, if the pan angle is less than 90, or if it was 91, make it 90, and if it was minus 91, make it minus 90. But then I thought, you don't actually want to change, you don't want to do this line, PanTilt hat.pan, if it's already pointing in the right direction. So if it moves out of range, you don't do anything. Otherwise, if it's within range, you just change the pan angle, and the same goes with the tilt. So that all works pretty damn well. Right, if we go back to program, wherever it is, oh no, yeah, there we go. So that's the frames per second, the pan, the tilt. Now the mode training, if you press T, it just toggles from tracking mode to training mode. And if it's in tracking mode, it needs to know what masks have been applied. So at the moment there are no masks applied, therefore it isn't tracking anything. So I've got 5 potential masks, not that I'm doing anything with this in this demonstration. So you can go 0 and it appears, or 3, 4, then you can take off 3. So you just press 2 and it will toggle whether you've enabled or not enabled each mask. So that's 1, 3, and I will go back into the program and right, if you've pressed 0 to 4, then you get the integer value of that key, and if you're tracking, it just says, right, if you pressed 2, you'll toggle whether mask number 2 has been enabled or not, and then that bit there is just printing out the string that contains whether the masks are enabled or not. So that's all fine. Oh, and down here, that's where it just says, if you've pressed T, tracking equals not tracking, which is just toggling whether it's tracking or training. So we'll go back to the program again. Now, if you press T, you're in training. Now, when you're in training, you're displaying the track bars for a particular window, for a particular mask. So you can choose which mask you're looking at. So you can put, it defaults to 0, so you can go track bars for mask 1, mask 2, mask 3, mask 4, back to 2. Then if you change back to tracking, it will show however many masks there were, and then when you go back to training again, it will remember which track bar you are looking at. Now if you're in mode training, and imagine that you can see the track bars here, I haven't put them in, it would have overcomplicated this video, and you completely mess them up because they were set at particular values, and you completely mess them up and you can't get them back. If you press D, D will actually set the defaults back again. If I can move that over there. If you read at the bottom of the shell, it says reset to defaults for 2. And if we look at the program, it says if you've pressed D and not tracking, i.e. training, you just reset the defaults, and that's where you put in the logic for resetting the defaults. Right, back to the program. What haven't we done? Pictures. I thought it'd be quite good to be able to take pictures with this. So at the moment it says pictures 0. So if you press P, it changes pictures 1. and if you look down in the shell, it says blah 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 blah, saved image 1, saved successfully. And you think, oh, that worked quite well. So you pan it around a bit, just to prove that it is taking a picture. Aha! My dinosaur assistant. Right, P, take another picture, and you can see pictures 2 has come up. So if you go into your filing cabinet and move that over, pictures, look over there, saved image 1. There, that's what we took the picture of, but I've made it so it doesn't have all the writing, because that would be pretty stupid. And saved image 2, same thing, different picture, no writing. Right, we'll get rid of that, get rid of that, we'll get rid of that, and we'll go back to my program. And if you go up here, not that far, not that far, the only thing I haven't showed you, I mean, that is just deciding that if you're tracking, you display one thing, and if you aren't tracking, if you're training, you display another thing. Right, the only other thing I haven't done is P. So you add 1 to the pic number, which is used in the file name, and then I've just captured the image from the camera again. It would be the same because it's like, I don't know, 1/5 of a second or something like that, in between capturing the image at the top and capturing that one. And I didn't want the writing, so then you flip it over, you create the file name by adding the number of the picture to it, you write it out, and there we go. So that's my program, and any comments would be appreciated as to how I could improve it. And I will be using this program in my homework, but I just couldn't cope with it, including the homework and explaining this program as well.